The Guns on Pegs podcast is brought to you by ITAP Group.
Hello and welcome back to the Guns on Pegs podcast. My name's George Brown and I'm joined as usual by Chris Horn. Hi Chris.
How are we doing?
Very well indeed, thank you.
We've got Claire Sadler with us.
Still, again, whichever you prefer. Showing behind the curtain.
In her wild and glorious cap.
Well, I've just come in from shooting.
Yeah.
And I was on the money with the branding, so I made sure Monty was wearing a BASC women's shooting hat and I had the wild and glorious, so that we ticked both camps while we were out shooting.
Well, yes, perhaps you could just explain why we're here at Holland Holland today.
So we have just wrapped up today, the annual Wild and Glorious by BASC Women's Cup. There's been, I think, 90 women out shooting today.
I was going to say, the car park was full.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. It was good.
There's, with the fastest growing demographic, no need for surprise, Chris.
No, it's in just filling a car park generally.
Yeah, that's true.
With a clay shoot, it's good.
So this is one of the highlights in the diary for a lot of women who shoot, and we've also invited MPs and staff, so there's a political element here that they can come and see what the face of shooting does look like. And there's prizes for all different, the prizes today, there was something like over £6,000 worth of prizes to be given out.
Good fun.
Did you win any?
I couldn't, but also, given that Monty insisted on pressing the button for me the entire way round and wouldn't wait for pull, it was a disaster in places. I could see people does she actually really shoot? And I'm I could blame the 4-year-old.
I love those days. You just absolutely brought back memories of going with Dad and, I want to push the button.
Push the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly. Where's it coming from? Oh, that one. The one from behind you.
He was pressing pairs the entire time, and that's what he does to me when we go to the local playground. He thinks it's really funny. But you could hear the instructors, they've all been so patient, but he's like, no, A. I'm like, listen.
But it's like we talked about in the last episode. Having your kids with you is a tremendous excuse for shooting badly.
Yeah.
It's, right up there with the sun was in my eyes.
Makes it more fun.
Yeah. So the event's a joint venture then between Wild and Glorious and BASC?
It is, yeah.
That's great.
How many years is this one?
This is only its second year. Yeah.
Nice.
And second year here as well.
That's really good.
Yeah.
We're working well. It was here last time.
Yes.
Smart.
And I'm guessing you didn't win.
Sadly didn't. I believe Monty dragged me away for an urgent personal need when the winner was announced, but I believe it was Steph Davey who won.
Is she a ringer? Is she a bit good?
She must be.
Yeah.
She must be.
You don't win shoots by fluke.
Katie Absalom, Wild and Glorious, told me just before that they spread the prizes amongst the groups.
Oh, sorry. So this is, I'm going off who won in the advanced category, but there were multiple different awards given out today, and in beginner and intermediate, and for all different places.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's
really
what I like
nice.
generally about clay shoots. If it's always for the person that came first, it's really boring. It's like, someone came glorious 12th. Well done.
I think clay shooting should have a handicapping system like golf.
Well, it does if you're at CPSA level, proper, what is it, AA.
But you're competing against other AA people, right?
Yeah, so
it's not like somebody who's C could win the whole event, right? Whereas you can have, say, like a Stapleford golf tournament where your handicap is taken into account, and you can win the whole thing even if you play off 36 or something like that.
True. Do they not have that in clay shooting? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do. I think that would be really cool. The only difficult thing is how you actually work out what someone's handicap is.
Well, same as a golf course, though, because you put your cards in at a golf course and that's all relative. But then obviously you go to
So every clay ground would need to have a par.
Yeah.
Doable, isn't it?
Yeah. Surely they've all thought of this. We're not really clued up.
Do you really think they... I'm not sure.
George.
I am out of my depth on the golf chat.
I think I've had a brilliant idea.
No, I think
Well
either
done, George.
you're the 50,000th person to have had this idea and they did it 49,999 people ago, or
And it didn't work.
Or it was never a good idea and that's why they haven't got it.
Yeah.
One of those two, I'm afraid, George.
I don't have bad ideas.
Okay.
I have ideas that haven't found their time.
Nice.
This is quite well attended. Are there many other events like this, with ladies only?
I think this is the largest. So Wild and Glorious will do another one up north, I think, in June of a similar ilk. And I think that has sold out as well, or is close to selling out.
Nice.
And then there are obviously lots of the women shooting groups who will put on days and competitions with their members. But the beauty of this is that it's a complete cross-section over everybody.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a BASC member to be here today.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a member of any other organisation. It's just come along and have fun.
So you shoot all the time. So therefore, what's the atmosphere like on a today versus just another random charity day that we do at Holland's?
Well, there's a lot of excitement that builds, and people travel from all over the country for today. So one of the girls, Sarah, who I know from like the kind of women in shooting up in Scotland, she's travelled down. She's going back up tonight.
Wow.
So the prizes are incredible. And because it's only once or twice a year, actually you can get incredible prizes. And there's the welly wanging, and there's all sorts of different aspects, the charitable element as well.
Just the welly wanging, explain.
It's George's favourite sport.
I do know what welly wanging is, but how does it feature in the
Trying
competition?
really hard not to crack any jokes, but basically you will stand by a line and there's a load of wellies and you throw them as far as you can, and then the person who threw the welly the furthest won a pair of Le Chameaux of their picking. But there is a bit of an emerging talent in welly wanging appearing. One of the girls apparently, when she comes to most of these events,
She wins it every time.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So she sort of invented the
Interesting.
Fosbury flop of welly wanging.
Yeah, she does have quite a unique way of doing it as well. So,
If you're going to fling a welly, especially a chameau, I'd grab the little buckle bit.
The tassel.
Yeah, and get a little bit of extra. Bit like the hammer.
like discus style.
Well, the hammer, it's got a little cord in it, it goes further. I just think that's the way I'd do it. Can you shoot? That would be welly shooting. I'd do that. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked.
Welly wanging goes. We've spoken about this before. I think I don't know if on the
Welly
podcast.
wanging.
I've always thought that there should be a Game Fair Olympics that involves. It's like a pentathlon or something like
Splat
that.
the Rat.
So you have say welly wanging, the straw bale hurdles, and then maybe like a pheasant dressing relay race.
Pheasant plucking.
Yep. Relay race or something like that. And you make it a team event, and lots of the stall holders can be a team. So you have Holland Holland versus Purdy or something in the final.
I like this.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think the insurance is an issue.
Is it?
I can't imagine pheasant plucking is
I think the
that
bale
dangerous.
hurdles could be a bit dodge.
fair.
I don't worry about that. There's disclaimers and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, the Game Fair can have that idea,
Yeah.
so I want to see it happen.
If you're pheasant plucking in that sort of situation, would you use a rubber attached onto a drill, or would you do it by hand?
I think it depends on the scoring system, because if it's just speed, then obviously using the drill. But I think if it's about presentation of the finished product, then I think I'd do it by hand.
This is a very difficult score thing, because you've got distance and then you've got presentations. You've got like an ice skating style scoring system.
Artistic merit.
Where were we?
I don't know. No, we were talking about the shoot today. So you said that women are the fastest growing demographic in shooting. Is that right?
It is globally. We'll use the phrase hunting, and what I mean by that is like deer stalking and shooting, because we're the only country that I know that actually don't use that term hunting and use it for something else. But yeah, globally, and that includes fishing as well, and generally with the outdoors.
So how important are days like today for driving that, do you think?
Really important. And there's a question that keeps coming up time and time again about, well, do we still need these women's days? Aren't we all just guns, and aren't we there? And days like today are super important because it's visibility, it's accessibility, and sweeping generalisation. Women on the whole need to see other women out doing things, or know they can go to things with their friends, and it's a confidence thing. So this is a perfect platform and opportunity for somebody new to come in and try, or to kind of push themselves a little bit outside the comfort zone, because it is a competition.
Yeah.
But also had to have a really good day. And so I encouraged everybody at the beginning of the day in my speech, just share your experiences.
Yeah.
Post about it online, have those conversations with people, because you all have the ability to influence just one person. And if we all influence just one in our entire lifetime, we can double the size of our community.
Yeah.
So I'll stand on my soapbox about this for many years to come, that all of these events have a place and we need to keep growing.
And when we're coming from such a small base in terms of the population of our country, that principle we've talked about in consumption of game as well, the same principle applies. Just tell one more person and we're like, doubling the size of everything. Yeah. It's an interesting one. I had a beer in the pub last night with another member of the Most Noble Order of the Garters, Chris, who's actually coming on the sim day with his girlfriend. And we had this discussion about exactly what you were just saying. Like, if it's a ladies only day, oh, darling, go to the ladies only day. Like, that's quite a weird thing in some ways, because you're then saying, go on your own. So did many people know each other before today? Like, is there some sort of community thing that occurs around this, or
not this one in particular? That's kind of comes to the forefront in all the other members and women shooting groups.
Yeah.
But there was a real mix of people attending today. So there was a good selection of people that I knew were coming on their own. But then there was also like the communities and other shooting groups that will book entire squads and ask to go out squadded together.
And do you group people up to go round in groups type thing, or is it just
yes?
Yeah, because that I think is a great way to get to know people.
Exactly.
Yeah, because his argument, Chris, last night was basically saying because she's coming on the sim day, well, come with me and then I'll introduce you to it and you'll get to know some other people. And she was much more excited about that than sort of going on her own to a ladies' day. And I was thinking, God, that's an interesting one, because when you look at it both ways, I can see the dauntingness of both scenarios.
Yeah,
confidence, in my opinion, is the biggest barrier.
Yeah, 100%.
And so whatever we can do to try and help improve confidence and break down that barrier, and it means different things to different people. And I'm not just saying that this is a women only thing.
Yeah, it's everyone. That's the thing.
The more we can do, I mean, even like joining a new range, that can be quite daunting, because you don't know what the attitude's like, you don't know what the people are like, you don't want to make any mistakes.
Yeah.
So we can all face it, regardless of how long you've been shooting.
Because I can't remember the exact stats, but shooting is still massively male dominated, and we see this from Guns on Pegs member data. Even the listenership of this podcast is pretty heavily weighted towards the blokes. So is it that there's a sort of intimidation factor for ladies coming into this sort of very male dominated environment? Is there an element of that, do you think? And if that is the case, what can blokes do to make it a more welcoming environment, like maybe on like game days, which are even probably more dominated by blokes?
I think it's a really interesting one, and I've been doing what I'm doing for the last 13, 14 years, so I am now quite a few steps away. But when I was cutting my teeth in the early days, I did pretty much every single shooting fair and game fair and stood on stand and spoke to these women, and what I was hearing then is not what I'm hearing now.
That's interesting.
So what I was hearing back then it was the accessibility point.
Yeah.
And you would hear, the most common thing I would hear on stand is, I give up my gun on Beaters Day. And I don't think we're there anymore. They'll hand it over to their partner or whoever else. We're no longer there. We've shifted. What it seems to come down to now is that confidence thing and going somewhere on your own. But I think the way that we are showing women in shooting online and sharing those stories, and even just being a woman who shoots, some of the political work that I've done, just being a young female, that can blow people's minds, because there's this misconception about who it is who shoots. So I've kind of forgotten your question, but I'm still talking.
Well, I think about, whether it being a male-dominated environment is a barrier to entry.
No, so I don't think that's the case, and I think we're growing. And our female membership at BASC is growing. We've hit record numbers, and we are continuing to grow month on month, which is incredible. But I think we are still at around the 12,000 female members. So there's so much opportunity to tap into. There's so many other women that we can encourage. And I'm looking at it through the lens of BASC membership, not the number of shotgun certificate holders when the government release their stats. But to your question about what can men do, I think it's what can all of us do, and keep encouraging. Like your friend who you had a drink with last night, Chris, the fact that he's actively encouraging and saying, come along with me, that's great regardless of sex.
Yeah.
When I used to work in the city, and back in the days when we had National Ladies Shooting Day, I would send emails round. I'm stopping people having a coffee in the kitchens. We can all do our bit to try and just make it a bit more accessible.
I was just wondering, I just did a quick Google to check, because I was wondering where do we think we're trying to get to here? What does good look like? And so I just Googled the percentage of the people who go to football matches,
Right.
being male or female, and it's a third, apparently, female.
Okay.
Which
That's rather higher than I was expecting.
Higher than I would have thought. Let's just say it's slightly too high and it's 25%, right? That's still really quite high. When I know the Guns on Pegs database is 3% female.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume clay shooting is a little bit different. I don't know why I'm assuming that, but I'm just assuming it is. We've got a long way to go. And because I think that's a good benchmark, because like football's kind of just, I see that's kind of a bit samey in terms of shooting. It's just like quite a male dominated thing. But actually,
the accessibility, sorry to cut over you there, Chris, it's, football's played in schools, it's on TV.
And it's grown a lot.
If you think of how many women out there are doing some form of sport or watching TV, and then use that 25% on that, you probably would come out with an average that's somewhere around the shooting one, because we're actually comparing apples and apples, really. There.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if we can get adoption in shooting to 25%, then we're in a fantastic position compared to where we are now.
And the other thing that I think often gets overlooked, particularly in the game shooting sense, is it could be 8 blokes standing on peg. But I think that there are way more women involved in shooting in other capacities other than holding the gun.
True.
Lots of pickers up, lots of people in the beating line. And I think sometimes those people get overlooked a bit. I was thinking about, okay, ours is a family shoot, but I reckon we're pretty much 50-50 on our shoot days.
That's cool.
If you include all the kids. I think my daughter is way more likely to shoot than my son. I think that they haven't got a choice. They both will shoot. But I think my daughter will enjoy it.
It's much cheaper if
she's much more bloodthirsty. Why didn't you shoot that one, Daddy? Because it's 200 yards away. So the BASC Women in Shooting campaign, that's you pretty much spearhead that, is that right?
I mean, it's a team effort, but that has been my baby, my passion while I've been on council.
Yeah. And so I wanted to talk about the council, actually. So you're vice chair. You've been vice chair for...
Since 2019, so 7 years.
Gosh. So I think a lot of people may not actually know how the BASC Council operates, what it's for. So... can you explain a little bit about what the council is and how people get on it and all that kind of thing?
Sure. So we have, I think it's 140, 150 members of staff.
Yeah.
Who all work relentlessly and so hard. And then council is formed of BASC members. And so each year, and I can't talk I'll have to talk high level because we're currently in something called PERDA, which means we can't discuss too much about elections. But as a member, you can put yourself forward and you get proposed and seconded, and then you can stand to be on council, and then you are elected by your member peers. And we have different seats, so some of them are national seats, and then some of them will be specific to a particular region. We have in the past had co-options as well. And the idea is that there is a member peer group that's up there on that strategic level that supports our staff in the day-to-day.
And so what sort of, is there a decision-making role for the council then? Is it advisory for the full-time staff, or how does that work?
A bit of both.
Okay.
A bit of both.
Does the council have sort of final say in something? Is it a bit like the House of Lords type scenario?
We do approve things. Things go to council for approval, yes.
Right.
But before that, there are so many experts on the ground, and there's a lot of work that's done. A lot of research, papers are formed, so it's not just as somebody will write something, it gets kind of shot up the mast.
So how often does council reject something?
Well, not a huge amount, but then I would also argue, legal hat on, from a governance perspective, if something has made it the whole way up to council and then gets rejected, something's gone wrong in that chain.
Of course.
Somewhere. So what we do have good discussions, and it's encouraged that we challenge and that we speak to each other and we try and get under the skin. And I think that's really important with any organisation.
Of course. What's the makeup of BASC council like in terms of interests and passions across shooting and demographics and all that sort of stuff?
So broad. So at the moment,
deliberately so, obviously.
Yes.
Well, actually, is it if it's elected?
Well, it is in a way because people will put themselves forward and think, oh, well, let's, like, obviously our history's in wildfowling.
Yeah.
So we have quite a few prominent wildfowlers. We've got stalkers. We have game shots. We've got, I think, two elected council members and one who's been co-opted. So we've got Angela out in Wales, and then we've got Lydia, who was elected last year, and her interest. So she, I think she's just starting on a lot of her shooting journey, but her political work is incredible. So we can cover off a whole breadth of different roles and interests.
And obviously there's going to be a lot of BASC members listening to this. Would you encourage people to apply that you think have got, decent skill sets in organisations that you think, if this is something that you care about, please do? Absolutely,
put yourself forward. We're elected from our membership, so the more that the membership's engaged and the more that members are putting themselves forward, the better. If you do have a skill set that from where I'm not saying that only people that come from this background, but if you've come from a background where you're used to this kind of governance structure, that's super helpful. But passion's probably the most important thing. Every single person on council, every single person who works for BASC is passionate about protecting the future of shooting.
Yeah. Well, on that, so 2019, that's when I joined Guns on Pegs, incidentally. There's been some interesting times in the shooting world, some interesting debates and challenging debates. What's been the biggest challenge that you, as a council, have faced since you've been on the council?
I can't speak for the whole of council. It'd be wrong for me to do that. And I don't think we can isolate any one issue that has kind of come to us or for discussion or any one particular consultation, because they all matter. And what we want to try and avoid is a death by 1,000 cuts. But if I can say my one big frustration, it's that 2019, when I started as vice chair, and I was co-opted from 2017, elected in 2018, and it has got better, but it's this apathy, this lack of engagement from our shooting community. Yeah. And we saw with one of the most recent consultations, the record numbers, we reached that, I think, 120, 30,000 pretty quickly.
Was that the Section 1, Section 2 one?
Correct.
Yeah, which was very, very quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
But back in 2019, trying to get anybody to really engage with some of the other consultations and writing to your MPs. Like, you go onto Facebook now and you can see people sharing letters and make sure you contact. And I think that's been one of my biggest frustrations, is trying to get people to hear and to see that this isn't an hour, and I'm speaking on behalf of organisations here, it's not an hour problem. This is all of ours.
Yeah.
And from a political perspective, the numbers matter. So if you've got 5-10 people in your constituency writing to you to say, I want you to consider the impact this will, whatever consultation it is, within your constituency, did you know X amount of money, quote the value of shooting? That's powerful.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with apathy. And I think looking back at the sort of consultations or the big decisions that have occurred since 2019, probably the biggest one, actually, was it 18, was general licenses. Yeah. But general licenses doesn't mean as much as gun ownership to people at a high level. They don't get it. A lot of people, they're like, it's moving from section what's it to section what's it. Like, who, what, how? That's most people's reaction, because they just don't understand what the law is currently, because it doesn't apply to as many people. Yes, it's very important to shooting, going back to your death by 1,000 cuts analogy. But I think what really worked with the recent one is gun ownership affects anyone.
That's true.
On that email list. Doesn't matter what you do. And that's why it really riled everyone. And I think that this is, you look at the BGA as was, and self-regulation in shooting, and everyone's going, this doesn't affect enough people. Obviously, it's super important, but it doesn't affect at a direct level chappie turning up in his car on a Saturday morning to a syndicate shoot. He doesn't see it. He or she doesn't see it in the same way. And I think that's what's so frustrating when you've got these really important things that we need to get out there and people to respond to. And actually, the one going on at the moment, the trail hunting thing, is really important. If you literally don't care about hunting, it's actually a barrier of defense. It's your pawns in a game of chess, if you're just going to look at it that way, from a shooting person's point of view.
Yeah.
But it's actually much more than that. It's all about way of life and attack on a demographic. And actually, there's a whole load of shooting stuff caught up in there anyway. So we all need to go all for it. But it's not getting anywhere like the take-up of that Section 1 discussion.
Well, there's also the species review consultation as well,
Yes.
and I think there's a little bit of a view that affects only wildfowlers, but it affects all of us because snipe and woodcock are within that as well.
Well, and you mentioned the general licenses. Now, that particular consultation is suggesting putting pigeons on the quarry list.
Yeah, by the way, massive win.
I'd have thought so. What's the BASC view? Do you know?
It is.
I wouldn't comment.
No
No
comment.
comment at this
There is
stage.
an article on there's an article on their homepage that talks about it in really quite a positive manner. Because what you don't have is that if pigeons go onto the quarry list, you don't have I'm protecting some crops, bang, like stupid comment that clearly occurs.
Yes. Well, it's
That's not
closing a
evidence.
sort of grey area, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, one for another time. There's a ton of opportunity in there.
Yes, we should get a big pigeon shot on. What about the proudest things that you've achieved or that the council has managed to get done?
Again, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the whole of council, but I'm really proud of where we are as an organisation now. I think, and hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, I think we've really modernised and there's a lot of appeal, and we, like I say, everybody within BASC is super passionate and we act on behalf of our members. And I think we're definitely seeing that trend of engagement. I personally am really happy with where we are with BASC Women and the rebrand that we've done, and how much work has gone into it, and the inventiveness of our events as well. You know, there was an event we did, I think it was last year or the year before, where we started the simulated McNab, and you can do cross-pollination there across fly fishing and your rifles and shotguns. So I will answer on that one personally, but I think, like I can tell you, every council meeting, there's so many things that we can all be proud of, and that's not blowing our own trumpet. It's that we genuinely care.
That's fantastic.
Simulated McNab.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
It's great. So you have to appreciate that what we're catering for here is that there's some women that have never even tried a rifle.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I just wanted to know about it.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. I thought I was going in defensive mode.
No, sorry.
So the inaugural event was at Swinton, and I think we split the groups into two separate groups. It was whoever was fishing in the morning, they had to catch for lunch. And then the other groups went out, and there was a full sim setup for like grouse layout. And
I see. Actually, so the fishing wasn't simulated.
Fishing was not simulated. If that was the confusing part. Sorry, I've not sold that very well.
I mean, you could do simulated fishing in that you could do sort of casting accuracy and that sort of thing if you didn't have a lake available.
Magnetic fish.
Yes, very good. Thus spake a mother.
Now I've got a good idea. See?
I had to play that game yesterday.
Did you?
But so you're actually catching fish, actually shooting a deer?
No, because so many. Again, it was all that the shooting part was simulated, but that was such a good opportunity for women to be around rifles for the first time, and that's still something we just need to kind of work on a little
target
bit.
practice.
Yeah,
Nice, good fun day.
Very cool.
Oh, great fun day out. And people, it was the follow-up, which we can be really proud of off the back of that. People booking in and wanting to do DSC1 and
brilliant.
Lots of fishing days and things off the back of it. So there's such good room for cross-pollination.
Great place to do it as well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you stay there?
Yes.
All of you? Like good fun party?
No, there wasn't a big fun party, but because one of my best friends, Marina Gibson, she's based up there, or was, so we stayed the night before.
Nice.
Yeah.
We need to talk about parenting in the countryside. As you said when we recorded the previous episode, your son Monty's next door, being an angel. You've decided to document your outdoor lifestyle with Monty quite heavily on Instagram, on social media. What was behind the decision to do that?
It was a little bit accidental. So I first signed up to Instagram back in 2013 because my younger sister said, there's lots of women who shoot and they're posting about it. And my following just accidentally grew. And then when I had Monty, there was a space of time where I didn't post anything about him. And it was just getting a bit awkward because it's, it's the two of us and the dogs. So I think when I was on maternity leave and I hiked the coastal path, I just started sharing a few bits and pieces. And the messages I was getting in, there's a lot of mums out there who are intimidated by getting back into the outdoors once they've had kids. And last year, I started something called the Mum Posts, and it was, I was quite proud of the branding here, but Mum Outdoor Motivation.
Oh, very good.
I know, on Mum. And it blew up. I cannot tell you the amount of messages that I got from people, just simple questions like, well, where do you start and how do you do this and what backpack carrier should you have? And I just thought, I've always stepped into that space and I've always put my head above the parapet. Women in the outdoors is a growing phenomenon.
Yeah.
Let's help encourage. And honestly, off the back of that, there's so many friends they've just started small and gone for a little walk or had a picnic mid-walk. And it's that confidence boost of, so what happens if it goes wrong or they start crying? It's absolutely fine. But there's such a fear, and it starts in pregnancy.
Yeah.
You get this, well, you won't be able to do that, and you can't do that. So for 9 months straight, you're told you must stay indoors and stay safe. And there's a different way you can approach it.
It's so tough. Like, you've done a fantastic job at it. And like,
Thank you.
I keep seeing you, like, especially if you're just like out walking up some mountain with Monty on your back, I'm like, you're mad. Anyway, it's great.
Thank you. We're off next weekend, actually.
Where are you going?
Yeah, back up to Snowdon.
Oh, fantastic.
Snowdon in North Wales, yeah.
Getting out early, it feels to me like that would be a really strong bit of advice for people, like getting back into it when you've got children early. I feel like, I'm talking partly from our experience here, but like it's too easy to get daunted because of the language during pregnancy of, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's sort of like accidentally drummed into you that your life's going to change and stuff. And I don't know what does that, but one for another time. But the idea then that, oh, you can't do this, you're not going to be able to shoot. Obviously, the moment they can, like you've done a great job of it, George, with the children going out. Obviously, it's brilliant because you're at home. Like, you've got in the car 3 hours. But,
and there's a lot of support.
Yeah, absolutely. But the point being that there is a lot of people who embrace it, and actually you can probably make it work, and you can adjust and all these things. But I think it's too daunting when it first happens. Happens, i.e. the baby happens.
You'll tell me if I'm wrong here. I think one of the big things that people see as a barrier is the logistics. So, I remember having our kids out on shoot days when they were very small.
For nappies.
One of nappies, exactly. What are you going to do?
In the winter.
It's
not ideal.
Hosing it down with rain, it's cold, it's muddy, and you need to do a full nappy change.
You get to hose it down with rain, that's great.
But it's that sort of thing, right? That seems daunting until you've done it once, and then you think actually it's sort of fine.
There's two aspects to that. The first is that you've got to accept that life is a little bit different for now, so you have to know when to call it a day. And you don't want to push too hard and then they're completely put off by any kind of outdoors. So in that situation, and it's absolutely bucketing it down, and there's been a punami, and that's it. You've got get off peg, go and sit that drive out, sort the baby out, and you can go back on. So I'd say that's the first thing. I had the phrase, improvise, adapt, overcome. So we just deal with the situation and we figure it out. It might not be perfect, but as long as we're both safe, happy, everyone's fed, we're sleeping well, we just deal with it. And we, on Monty's, I did debate whether or not to share this story because this might be one that Monty kills me for when he turns 18. But on Monty's first game shoot, I thought I had preempted everything. I thought I had, I've done enough game shooting, I know what's going to happen. It was a lovely day, so I can't even blame the weather. First drive, and we're pegged at the end, luckily, he kicks off big time. And he wants his shotgun. And I brought his little toy one with me and got my dad to tape up a gun slip so that he could do exactly what Mummy did. And I realised I forgot his toy cartridges. And these it's the really kind of nice high-end shotgun, toy shotgun that you can get. So the holes are tiny. Yeah. So he had a meltdown. And I'm thinking, how have I failed at this particular hurdle? And that improvise, adapt, overcome came into my mind. So I spoke to Terry. It was Terry Behan and Curtis Mossop, who are good friends and work for BASC. It was BASC Women Day. I said, we've got to figure this out. So Terry used his Leatherman and basically crafted a cartridge out of an old 410. And apologies to male listeners, I put my hand in my pocket and found a tampon and an applicator, felt the end and was like, that will work. So Monty's shotgun on his first ever day was a handcrafted old 410 and an applicator from a tampon. And we got away with it until he tried to pull the trigger, and then he went, "Mine doesn't make your noise." And I thought, yeah, I'm like, I've hit my limits. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail. Know when to call it a day, and don't listen to all those things you're told when the baby's newborn, because all they want to be is with you.
Yeah, and just go out and enjoy that day, and don't try and think it's going to be exactly like it was before.
Exactly.
Everything's going to go wrong. You're not going to be able to just chin wag all day with your best mates drinking like whatever. It's just different, and that's great.
But I also think the other thing is that particularly on shoot days, which are they're slightly rarefied occasions, right? I think one of the things certainly one of the things I was worried about is, are my children, well, a bit like that bit of correspondence that we had, but are my children going to be an imposition or an annoyance to the other people on that day?
Yeah, big concern.
But I think, most adults have a sensible view of this, which is the more kids we have involved, the better. Most people are happy just to see kids out enjoying themselves. And if you need to say, listen, I need to leg it up the hill to go and do something, whatever it is, can you just stand with my child for 2 minutes while I go and sort this thing out? They'll say, absolutely, that's fine.
That is very well put, and it's really important. I've got an extra bit of advice from my first time that I took the children. Don't take the dog as well.
Oh, God. No.
Like, oh, my God. I was like, I'll just let... Our dog's like a timid little thing, will always just heel next to me. And so I let the dog off the lead because I was like, I can't be doing that and carrying. Freddie was just having a meltdown, carry Freddie, and then dog runs off towards the drive, and I hear my mate Charlie, who's like, Chris, your dog. And I was like, my dog has never run off anywhere. It can't be my dog. And obviously I'm now sweating like mad, walking up this hill with a child on my back and my gun slip and my cartridge bag. Anyway, don't take the dog. Minimise the issues, as you rightly put, like, dog's got another day.
We've had so much correspondence about kids in the field in general over the years, and I've got another bit, and this one comes from somebody I've called Smith, where the P is silent.
Has there ever been a Smith with a silent P in front? Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a P.G. Wodehouse character.
I was watching football that day, sorry.
So Smith has written, Dear all, I'm hoping you can resolve a query that I've had for many years now, but which has only come to light toward the end of last season. My grandson has finally become old enough to join me on my occasional shoot day, just to load for now. And I can't tell you how excited that makes us both. My query is this: how well does he need to dress? I've asked many of my friends, both in my syndicate and outside it, and have received a variety of answers. As you may expect, the shoot host of my syndicate says he does not mind at all and is just happy to see a young face amongst all us oldies. Some others, however, have said that he should make the effort respecting the game, etc. What do we think?
I think it depends on the age of the grandson. I think it depends on his age, because there's a way, if the granddad's going to go out and he's going to be, shirt and tie and what have you, there's a way that the grandson can accommodate that with whatever he has. And Vinted and eBay's great for all kids, like tweeds and what have you. So there's a balance there. If we're looking at a youngster, and it doesn't sound like this is, it says get old enough to come out. I think with any of the younger kids, actually, I don't think it matters. And I just put on a green waterproof onesie for Monty, put your wellies on and off you go. So it depends on the age.
I think when they're really small, 2 to about 6, the single most important thing is that they are warm and dry.
Yeah, the onesie.
So top tip, Zara do these amazing rubberized dungaree things. They're phenomenal, fleece lined, completely waterproof. They come up, when they're quite small, they come up to about, their chin. They're just beautifully warm. But then as mine have got older, I've just started drip feeding in bits of shooting clobber. So the first thing they had was a flat cap, which we bought at the Alresford show, and they were very excited about that. I made them their own beating stick, so, they don't go beating, but they love having the stick. And gradually over time, they have now got a full, they're supposedly breeks, but they're basically plus 10s on them at the moment, because so vast. They've got the full kit, shooting socks, garters, the whole thing, and they get very excited now to put on their shooting gear. And it's part of the indoctrination process for me, has been to gradually provide them with little bits and pieces.
To be like you as well.
Yeah.
Because there becomes an age where they just want to copy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, pretty young that happens, isn't it?
Well, you bought Monty his first flat cap.
Yes.
Yes, when he was a couple of months old. And it matched beautifully my tweed, but it didn't fit him very long.
I was about to say, like, how flat cap's probably an item that does last longer than most. I mean, I bought Freddie a little tweed jacket from somewhere like Amazon or eBay or something, and I think he wore it once.
Yes, I bought the ones I bought for my kids. I bought several sizes too large, so that they last a bit longer.
Right. So if you're a grandparent listening to this,
Yeah.
that's going to be highly likely. What do you buy? What's the item that you'd appreciate the most for your children?
Monty's always had like the kids' gilets.
Yes.
Because you can
they're
put
really
them on
good.
over the waterproof. It's an extra level. You look part of the team.
That's
So
a
I would
good
say
shout.
you can't go wrong with those. And at the game fair, there's loads of stands that have all the kids' clothing. And
Yeah.
I love like the shirts and things.
The shirts are great. I don't think a kid under the age of about 10 needs to wear a tie.
I'll disagree with you there.
Okay.
I got my mum to fashion and sew Monty a BASC tie that has elastic
I was
and a
about
button.
to say, I remember this.
And it still fits. Like, it is a bit like when he puts it on now, but I'm like, no, another year out of that.
He's
And
not gradually going
But hold
purple
on.
from the neck
You
up.
could just change the elastic.
Well, this is it. So, and my mum will be very grateful, good old Anne, that she doesn't have to sew and stitch another one. But I just handed her a blue tie. So I don't think you have to wear a tie, but I just quite like it. And I think it comes down to, if we're going somewhere super smart, come on, dude, put your shirt on, your gilet, the little tie.
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's melting stuff. If you see a little kid turn up in full kit and tie, everyone's getting their phone out at that point.
Yeah.
The shooting coats are, I actually think that there's a reason that we wear what we wear when we go out shooting, and the main reason is that it works, and that actually a lot of coats that are made for kids are bloody useless. They're not waterproof, or they haven't got pockets in them. I can't tell you how many of my daughter's coats don't have pockets in, and it drives me mad. Whereas if you buy a shooting coat, it's got pockets everywhere, and they look quite smart, and you know that they're not going to fall apart. I think a little tweed shooting coat is a fantastic, like a gift from a grandparent. They're not expensive, but they are like a really nice thing, like as a Christmas present or something like that. They're perfect.
And there's loads on Vinted and stuff.
I was about to say
well.
Vinted's a good shout. I didn't go on there.
And there's a few brands that do nice little kids shooting coats. I think Rydale do a few. You have to be a certain age. I don't think you'll get one for a 2-year-old, but I now cannot remember the name of the brand where I got their first one from.
At the game fair last year, I remember walking past the Rydell stuff, and they've got lots of pretty cheap stuff on discount.
Yeah.
And the little gilet you were just referring to, they did it for a 2-year-old.
Yes.
When we start to get to the December, January really cold days, I will just put Monty in like a ski suit, snowsuit in muted colours, and then chuck a gilet over the top
Yeah,
of that.
perfect.
Yeah, Annabelle wanted to wear pink, obviously, on our first shoot day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did you say yes?
Yeah, just go stand behind someone else.
That's very good, yes. Matched your garters at any rate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. We should do garter merch for children. It's full blown. Advice here, then. So, are we saying? Well, go on. Okay. How well does he need to dress? Summarised in one sentence.
Depends on the shoot.
Yeah.
And depends on what he's wearing.
Complicated.
Yeah.
George.
I'd say the older the child, the smarter they need to be.
Ooh,
That's a good answer.
Nice.
I'm going to go with that.
Yep.
I think, so like early, really young, sort of under 6. Make sure they're warm, comfortable, dry, etc. Thereafter, you can start adding in little bits and pieces. And I think...
And at what age do you need to be matching?
Matching what?
The adults.
I think there comes a point where any kid who spent the previous 7 or 8 years out on shoot days, they're going to want to start shooting.
Yeah.
And I think the first time that they are allowed to carry an unloaded gun, that's when they have to be in full fig. We've not talked about beating here yet.
No.
That's a completely different ball game.
No.
It needs to be thorn-proof and all the rest of it. But I would say, the first time that they are carrying an unloaded 410, that's when the whole breeks, socks, garters, shirt, tie.
Cashmere ones from Holland Holland.
That's like a full term's nursery fees, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of the guy that went into Purdy and said he'd been invited shooting, and it was 5 days. It was a decent invite, and he bought 5 pairs of cashmere Purdy socks for $2,000.
Blimey. I think they all went for a pint that night, didn't they?
Winner.
Brilliant. Yes, respecting the game. I mean, this is a bit of a bugbear of mine. I don't think what you wear to go shooting has any bearing whatsoever on whether you're respecting the game or not. Because if that were true, we would wear breeks and ties and stuff to go deer stalking or pigeon shooting or whatever. I just think that's nonsense. You respect the game by respecting it, by shooting sensibly, by taking the game home at the end of the day, making sure that you are feeding
We
game.
need to change the word. I don't think it's any longer about respecting the game. I think it's respecting the situation or the heritage.
It's like a wedding, right?
Yeah.
You wear the dress code.
You respect.
But
the
you're not.
day.
It's got nothing to do with the pheasant. The pheasant
No,
could
you're right.
not give a shit
It's
if
not
you're wearing a
respecting the
tie.
game. It's respecting the day, isn't it?
Do you wear a tie when you shoot?
No.
Do you have anything or as a sort of neckerchief situation or anything like that? Because the one advantage of a tie is it does keep your neck warm.
Sometimes, but I find them annoying.
Yeah, they are.
And so you end up, when you get on peg, adjusting things, because I don't want it like done up the entire time. And so, you stand on peg and then you're adjusting, and then I get irritated with them. I found if I really need something and it's a cold day, I'll wear a roll neck or something.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about January. Tie and ear defenders, no earplugs,
perfect.
have to be ear defenders.
But actually, those little roll necks are really good for kids out shooting it because, a lot of kids don't wear a collar until they're starting school. So, a roll neck is a good alternative for that as well. And there's some really nice sort of, shooting shirt style roll necks available.
Game fair.
Yeah. The game fair is a pretty, if you want clobber for the kids.
Because you can try it on. It's not the sort of stuff you can find on somewhere where you've got next day delivery and free returns. Like, go to the game fair, get it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. Well, that, some uncharacteristic, sensible advice from the Guns on Pegs podcast. So thank you, Claire, for bringing some sensibleness to it.
Claire, the way that we finish these off,
Okay.
you must know, is our desert island shooting segment. And the scenario is this. The extinction level event asteroid hits tomorrow. Your affairs are in order. Loved ones and enemies reconciled. Dogs fed. Monty looked after. Tomatoes are watered. Your last day begins. How?
So I did give this some thought, and I did have some quite boring get out in the high seat with my dad and my brother, because that is honestly one of my favourite things to do.
There is no such thing as a wrong answer for this.
But I think if I'm now going to be selfish because the world is ending and it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
So I'll leave Dad and Jack at home and they can have Monty. And I would go back somewhere that I was very fortunate last October to go out shooting ptarmigan and grouse in the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, wow.
In Colorado.
That's
and
phenomenal.
that was the most amazing mix of everything that I love. Like, you're up in the mountains, you are in the wilderness. We had to have a full brief with the woman I was with, Lanny. She's Lanny Oakley online, Lanny Barnes, ex-Team USA Olympian, absolute machine. And so we had a briefing about what to do if a bear comes towards you, mountain lion.
What is the bear advice?
So she
Depends
said,
on the bear.
No, so obviously there's a whole phrase about the type of bear that there is, and I think it's brown, get down, polar, it's over. I can't remember the other ones. So I was trying
Black,
to rack
get
my
back.
brains and Google what bears are we going to see here? And I just said to her, look, I'm not nervous at all, but what do I do if I see a bear? And she said, they will be more scared of you than you are of it. And then she went, but if you see a mountain lion? And I looked and I said, oh, okay. She said, get the F out of there, because by the time you've seen that, it's been stalking you.
Oh, wow.
And then we were up this proper mountain, up at, I think it was 20-something thousand feet. And I remember thinking when I was doing it, my dad is going to kill me if he finds out what I'm doing. And we're walking along on our own. So if something comes out, she did say with the bear, she said, it'll be more scared of you. And we were shooting semi-auto. She said, but I need you to give it all 3 rounds in your gun.
Good Lord.
So, and there was a point where when we were duck flighting, I was stood on a snake's nest. I felt something on my feet and I looked down. And I mean, you when they're all wrangling over each other, you're counting heads at this point. But there was about 8 or 9 snakes just all over my feet. Tarantulas ran at me, and actually tarantulas. I thought I had arachnophobia, and then you see them out in the wild. I was like, oh, they're really cute.
Desert island shooting.
So that is where I would go. And the grouse, they will roost up and nest up in the top of fir trees. So you're walking along.
So which species of grouse was this?
Sage.
Sage grouse.
Yeah. So
That's
that for
cool.
me was, and I love my South Africa trip, and I always get worried about offending the South African boys, but the Colorado was insane, the best trip I have ever done.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd go back in a
Fantastic.
heartbeat.
Well, because we have the private jet, you could spend the morning in the high seat.
No, I've completely lost those two now. It's
Okay,
every man for
fair
himself.
enough.
I'm straight on that plane.
You don't want to take, would you take anybody with you on this trip?
Well, I should say Monty, shouldn't I? But I just think you might hold me back a little bit.
Yeah.
What, when you're just dusting off Colorado's wildlife?
Basically, yeah. But no, I would, any time out with him, and I'm trying to teach him to stalk at the moment, and we lose hours on a weekend in the morning where we're just walking and looking for
That's perfect.
tracks and poo
And I'll
and
bet he's
things.
properly knackered as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is, 90% of the aim of parenting is to make sure they're sufficiently tired at 6 o'clock.
that you can be tired and go to bed at 7.
Exactly, yeah. But not
Yeah,
too
yeah.
tired, because if they get too tired, that's it.
So it's tricky balance.
Yeah. Fantastic.
God.
Well, that Colorado sounds amazing.
It does sound really good. I'm not sure how I feel about aspects of that, but the rest of it sounds
Which
brilliant.
bit are you at least certain about?
I like the sort of issues we have in the UK when it comes to dangerous.
What, loafers or wellies? That's your sort of dilemma. No.
Yeah, tarantulas, staniel snakes nests.
I
Bears.
mean, I love all that adventure stuff. So for me, that just ticked so many boxes. But it was absolutely
Did
incredible.
you camp?
No.
Okay.
So the Lanny, who I was staying with, she's got a ranch, and in her back garden is just as far as you can see of different gun ranges. So we had a whale of a time, and I actually had to take my my US Hunter Ed to be able to go out there and shoot. Yeah, so I'm registered in Alabama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and no offense to anybody who's from Alabama, because I was a terrible American accent.
I mean, it was all right. And I don't think anyone's been there on our desert island shooting.
No,
so
I think that's a first.
10 points for originality.
Yes. Very good.
Good work.
Well, Claire, thank you so much. It's been really good fun.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Thank you for having me, and sorry that I played so hard to get for so many years.
It was worth the wait.
Young children, yeah. And well done with everything you've been up to. And juggling this and the parenting.
Thank you.
Right, so before we go, all that remains for me to say is there's a final reminder that you can get your hands on a pair of the very exclusive Guns on Pegs podcast shooting sock garters by sending us your shooting dilemmas for us to resolve, or by sending us your unpopular opinions, or sharing your forgotten drives or your Muck podcast suggestions. Just drop us an email to pod@gunsonpegs.com, and if we read it out in the next episode or any future episodes, we will send you some garters. Chris and I are going to be back in a few weeks' time with another special guest. I will be back with Jake Avian and Sam before that. But until then, thanks very much for listening.
And goodbye.
Ah, you stole my line.
I haven't done it for a while. I had to.